Good day, viewers. Hello, good day, viewers. Welcome to another mathematics presentation. So, in this presentation, we are still answering questions based on the coordinate geometry. So, in this lesson, we are going to look at how we can find the gradient of a straight line. Okay, that's what we are going to look at. So now, before we look at how we can find the gradient of the straight line, first of all, we need to understand what gradient is. So the gradient of the straight line is just the steepness or slope of the line. That is what we call the gradient. The steepness or the slopeness of the line is what we call the gradient. Now, apart from that, you must know that if the line slopes to the right, so to slope to the right, it means it will slope like this. So if it slopes like this, it means the gradient is going to be a positive gradient. But if the line slopes to the left, so if it slopes to the left, it's like this. It means that the gradient is going to be a what? A negative. So these are very important points to take note of. Apart from that, a horizontal line has a gradient of what? Of 0. So a horizontal line is this line which will be in this way. So this is a horizontal line. So this horizontal line has a gradient of what? Of 0. So this point you must also know it. Apart from that, a vertical line has an infinity or undefined gradient. So a vertical line, it's a line which is like this. Okay, this is a vertical line which is like this. So this vertical line has an infinity or undefined what? Gradient. So when it comes to gradient, these points are very, very important for you to understand because they help you when answering some of the questions. They may use them as terminologies in such particular question. That's why it's very important that you understand them. So now let us look at this xy plane that we have. So on this Cartesian plane, we have the x-axis right here. We also have the origin and we have the y-axis, which is in the vertical axis here. Then we have this line. This is a straight line. And on this straight line, we have the point A and what? And B. So the point A is lying on this point A is lying on x1, y1. The point B, this point right here, is lying on x2, y2. So this one was supposed to be written like this, x2, y2. Take note. Now, we need to find the gradient of line AB. So if we want to find the gradient of line AB, okay, remember this gradient is along a straight line. So we are going to say, this is the formula now that we can use. We'll say gradient. Okay, so this gradient can also be presented by letter M. Gradient or M is equal to, so we'll find the difference in the y coordinate, which is y2 minus y1. Then we divide by the difference in the x coordinate, which is x2 minus x1. So this is our formula. So you have to know this formula. And this type of questions, they normally come in mathematics paper 1. So whether you write it or not, you're supposed to know this formula. So this is the formula that we can use whenever you're finding the gradient along a straight line. So let us now look at the examples. So under the examples here, we have 3 questions. So from these 3 questions, I'm just going to answer question 1 and 2. Then question 3, you can try to answer it. Okay, so we start with question 1. Find the gradient of the straight line joining the points R and S. So the first thing, take note of the points that we have. We have 2 points here. We have R and S. So since we have point R, we write R. We have 5, 2. Then we also have point S, which is 7, negative 3. So we need to write the formula for gradient, which is M is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1 equal to. So now from these coordinates that we have for point R, we can name this one as our x1 and this one as our y1. Then we can name this one as our x2 and this one as our y2. Okay, and this one as our y2. So whether you want to make S as your x1, y1 and R your x2, y2, you are still going to get the same answer. So under y2, we are going to put a negative 3 minus, under y1 we put a 2 because y1 is a 2, over, under x2 we put a 7 right there, under x1 we put this 5. Okay, so negative 3 minus 2 to give us negative 5 over 7 minus 5 to give us a 2. So this is the gradient that we have, negative 5 over 2. So same signs, negative, negative we maintain, 3 plus 2 is a 5. So negative 3 minus 2 give us a negative 5. So we have answered our question 1. Let us now move on to our question 2. Our question 2 reads, find the gradient of the straight line joining the points P, which is negative 6, negative 4, and Q, negative 3, positive 5. So again, let's take note of the points. So for P, we have negative 6, negative 4, and we also have point Q, which is having the points negative 3, a 5. So let's name our coordinates. This is x1, and this is y1, and this is x2, and this is y2. So from here now we can come up with the formula for finding the gradient, which is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we just substitute. Where there is y2, we are going to put this 5, and where there is y1, we are going to put a negative 4. Where we have x2, we are going to put a negative 3, and where we have x1, we are going to put a negative 6. So on y2, we will put a 5 there, minus, what is our y1? It's a negative 4. So because it's carrying a negative, you need to put it in brackets, because this negative and this negative on the formula is going to be affected, over where we have x2, we are going to put this negative 3, minus where we have x1, we have negative 6. Again, we are going to enclose it in brackets because of the negative. So from here, we say 5, negative times negative, it's a positive 4, over, we write negative 3, the negative times this negative, it's a positive 6. So from here, we say 5 plus 4 gives us a 9, over negative 3 plus 6 gives us a 3. So from here, we can say 3, 1, 3 into 9, it's a 3. 1 into 3, you get a 3. So the gradient here was a 3. Okay, so this is our gradient. So we have answered the question 1 and 2. Now, it's you to take up your time also to answer question 3. So question 3 reads, find the gradient of the straight line joining the points negative 6, negative 4, and negative 3, 5. So this one, let me change, the points are the same with this one. So negative 2, 6. So find the gradient now. Okay. So thank you so much, everybody. We've come to the end of our short presentation. This has been your presenter, Mr. Mlenga. Bye-bye. So don't forget, if you want online tuitions in mathematics and biology, you are free to WhatsApp me on 0963 6766 15. 0963 6766 15. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Facebook page and on my TikTok channel under the same name, Mr. Mlenga. Thank you once again. Bye-bye.